A very happy 2021 to all of us, to all of you and your family members as well. I think we can safely say that if the dangers of COVID-19 recede and go away, then the base effect is in favor for all of us to have a very good 2021. There might be personal issues and personal cases specifically, but for the larger mass, I think if that happens, then we are all set for a better 2021 compared to 2020. And I think we can make do with that, to be honest. This year, if we just get the basic things and the small things correct, I mean, we really don't need the fancy things, just need the small things to fall in place. And I sincerely hope that for all of us, that happens. Well, from an equity markets perspective, it's been a great one, right? That's what we are logging in for here today. And 2020 wasn't that bad a year if you chose all the right stocks. So I hope that from an equity watcher's perspective and equity investors' perspective, we get a repeat of what happened in 2020 from March onwards. I hope the fall don't come in as well. But yeah, the rises would well be welcome. So the US markets, of course, did very well. They ended the year on a high. I mean, I think it surged and ended the year at record highs. The Dow had a wild 2020, and yes, there was no difference. So a good end to the US markets for sure. The question is whether all of this reflects onto the trade today. Frankly, we are one of the very few markets which are operational on the 1st of January. And for the love of God, I can never understand why is it that our regulators don't keep the 1st January shut. But as it is, we are on today, one of the few markets, I think very, very few, maybe 3 or 4 markets are operational on the 1st of January. And therefore, yeah, I mean, forget the queues. Essentially, we just have to wait and watch if indeed the day meanders along on low volumes or no. I mean, every year I hope for this, and I request once again, I hope next year onwards, 1st Jan is a holiday. Boy, we all deserve it. But also, just a small reflection on 2020. There is a chart on the Bloomberg terminal which shows what did how. And yes, Bitcoin might be at the top. We haven't included that. But tech, of course, surged, and small caps took a second place in 2020 from a US markets perspective. I think from an Indian watcher's perspective, you probably believe that while quality and large caps still took the center seat, maybe 2021 could be the year when this could happen. Now, that is something that all of us should certainly be watching out for in the year to come. Now, the key is what to look forward to in 2021, right? There's a bunch of things, of course. And I know a lot of people have already spoken about the near term and the Georgia elections, which might have an impact on the US markets, so on and so forth. You're looking at the earnings season as well, kickstarting today, and not today, maybe today some numbers will come in, but over the next 3-4 days, auto sales numbers, etc. But largely from a top-down perspective, the 2 or 3 things, because the government has promised so much, the budget could be a game changer. I think budget 2021 would be very, very important. IPOs from startups, I've just included 3 names out here because they're the most obvious ones, but we have a very healthy IPO pipeline this year in India, and that should keep the primary markets very active, and that's necessary. I mean, in the gush of money that is coming in, we also need the primary markets to be able to absorb and get some good responses, because these are very interesting names, some of which might have the potential to become index names in the future. So Flipkart, Zomato, Policy Bazaar, and a few others. I think that is Delivery, Nykaa. So very interesting set of IPOs slated to come up. And a post-COVID world, I think all of us would be watching for that for sure. The trade setup for today, I think indices will be quiet on the first day of the new series. I would be very surprised if we have really large moves, but I mean, or sharp cuts are definitely ruled out according to me. We'll probably have, we could have a surprise and the indices could edge up higher. Let's wait and watch, but I reckon they could be quiet on the first day of the new series. Auto sales numbers also, some of these may not actually come out today. Some of these may actually trickle in only over the weekend. So you have to be mindful of that. Let's wait and watch how they shape up. And volumes will be subdued, but specific mid caps will continue to see action. I will mark a few stocks which might move on the basis of news, but I dare say on a thin day, you might actually have some mid caps really rising sharply, and could be interesting to see the trade action out there. So let's try and identify some stocks for today's perspective. Remember, as I've said, autos remain firmly in focus because of the auto sales numbers as and when some of these come out. Very few might come out, but whichever come out could be in focus today. Some of the wholesale numbers might be okay. The retail numbers for some companies could be interesting to look at, but yeah, wholesales for companies like Maruti, etc., would be very strong. So bear that at the back of your mind. Stocks in news: Jindal Steel and Power has been declared the successful bidder for Gare Palma for one of the mines. They won the auction for the coal mine at a 25% bid premium to the representative price. Should be positive. A company bidding for a mine and getting it should be auguring well. Metals are anyways in a decent uptrend. This stock has risen quite a bit already, but nothing to say that more can't happen. So do watch out for JSPL in the session today. Do watch out for Bharat Dynamics. Everybody's talking about how some of these defense-related plays could be strong now. The company's release yesterday stated that because the government has said that the Akash weapon system is now geared up for exports, the company said that it is geared up to take up the export order of Akash missile because this weapon system is being manufactured by Bharat Dynamics at its Hyderabad unit in partnership with a few other companies, but BDL apparently is at the forefront of manufacturing the Akash weapon system, and therefore, if indeed there are some opportunities that come up for exporting of the Akash missile or the Akash weapon system, then Bharat Dynamics could benefit. Now, this is be a big turnaround, right? India is the traditional importer of all kinds of defense systems. I do not know the magnitude of this because the company has not put it out, but just from a optics perspective, it looks pretty interesting. Let's wait and watch if Bharat Dynamics has some reactions in the session today or no. Couple of stocks which I haven't quite given to my producers, so I'll just speak about them. Just hear me out. So Moil could be interesting. They've announced price hikes across different grades of manganese ore and other products as well. So because of the price hikes, this could be in focus today. There's a new listing. Anthony Waste got 15 times subscribed, so at 10 a.m. you should be watching out for that. And there is a Gazette notification for the review of the sunset clause for anti-dumping duty on phenol. Now, two companies, I think. One is Deepak Nitrite or Deepak Phenolics. So that was one of the companies which did make this application. And Hindustan Organic Chemical Limited is the other one which made this application. So for both of these stocks, if indeed the anti-dumping duty stays true, then it will be a positive for them. So do watch out for these two as well. If you see some spikes in Deepak Nitrite and Hindustan Organic Chemicals, you know why this could be happening. So these are the three names that I did give to my producers, but I hope you got a gist of that. Manganese, Moil, there's a new listing, Anthony Waste, and Deepak Nitrite and Hindustan Organic Chemicals. Lastly, some stocks which had some very interesting price and volume action. And if we can pull up the statistics there was APL Apollo Tubes, which has been the best performer in the metals index and gained about 5.5% yesterday as well, with very strong delivery percentages. That was the more interesting bit. It goes into ASM from today, but that notwithstanding, very strong price action. Sterling and Wilson Solar went up 10% yesterday, 37% mark for delivery. I didn't get the name of the buyer, unfortunately, but there's a lot of talk that a large local domestic mutual fund has bought a stake in Sterling and Wilson Solar, and therefore maybe other people have got that statistic. So excuse me for not having it, but if indeed others have the names, then maybe Sterling Wilson Solar could react accordingly. So do watch out for that one. There's some trading activity in Alok and all. I mean, I hear from people that Alok could actually rise further. I'm very skeptical of some of these names. So excuse me for that. Alok, of course, is now a Reliance entity, but still, do watch out for Alok Industries. Apparently, some smart money has gotten into it. Some good price delivery action. And Rail Vikas Nigam is the other one to do watch out for that. So these are a few names that all of us should be watching out for in the session today, based on the moves that have happened yesterday. Last but not the least, as I stated every day, I'll end, and today will be the last day, and I'll kind of bring a global opinion about the global markets, equities, or Indian markets. And after JP Morgan Private Bank and BlackRock Global Institute, I'm bringing a note which Morgan Stanley released on the 13th of December, but it would hold true even now. They are of the belief that globally they see buying opportunities in banks as they benefit immensely from reopenings. They see ways to play in almost every geography. And while they are more bullish on large cap banks and consumer finance in US, European banks and China's financials, but on India as well, they believe that even though BankX has outperformed the Sensex in recent months, valuations are around long-term mean levels and attractive, and they expect significant upside for large private banks as well as State Bank of India. People like Shankar Sharma are not in favor of this, and they are happy missing the trade for something else. A brokerage has to cater to its clients on all sectors, and maybe that's why they are doing this. But this is the Morgan Stanley view on quality private sector banks and maybe State Bank of India. Maybe you take a view there. Once again, I wish all of you a very happy 2021. Please stay safe, and I hope it's great for all of us. Thanks so much for tuning into the Trade Setup today.